All right, all right. Phenomenal morning, guys. Phenomenal morning, phenomenal morning. Listen, this is your Breakfast with the Brand. I am your host, Sean Raiz, here with the phenomenal Bobby Jackson. We are here to give you some inspiration and motivation. I always tell you I'm not a motivational speaker, not an inspirational speaker. However, you just might hear something that will inspire your quest for greatness and to be phenomenal. And you just might be motivated if you are phenomenal. But we're here to give you practical business and life tips, techniques, and strategies that will take you from where you are to the stratosphere. How you doing, Bobby Jackson? Phenomenal morning, brother.
Phenomenal morning. Phenomenal morning. I'm feeling ready. I'm feeling ready. Like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they get boom, hit in the mouth, hit in the face.
That's
And
right.
I feel like I got hit in the face this morning. And I love it.
Uh-oh.
I love
Uh-oh.
it because the best defense is a phenomenal offense.
That's right.
So I've been told, right? So this morning, my offense wasn't as phenomenal. Wasn't as phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to going to the gym. I'm about to destroy myself. I'm looking forward to hitting the books. I'm gonna destroy myself. I'm looking forward to everything today because I've learned that when I get popped like this, the best thing I can do, is floor it, like floor it in the direction that I need to go in because mediocrity floats like a butterfly and stings like 100 bees. So you better keep your
That's right.
going.
That's
Buy
right.
yourself
So,
that.
so what happened? What happened this morning? Do you care to share? Sharing is caring.
Yeah, it was just a long night with the family turned into a very tough morning for me and my business because I'm like dead tired,
Come
dead,
on. Come on.
and I'm up talking with her. Like the time I'm supposed to be getting up, my wife's still talking to me. I'm like, I'm supposed to be getting up for work now. And it was one of those conversations where it's like, I'm fighting to stay in it. Like, ladies, we love you guys, but y'all are more emotional than we are, more like touchy feely. And I was in a space where I'm like, I'm trying to go to sleep. Like, I'm not even hearing nothing right now. But it was such a delicate conversation that it was only right that I showed up for her.
Right.
So when that alarm hit, it hit me hard. I'm like, I can't move. Like, I can't move. And I felt myself like trying to pray and woke up hours later after praying. I'm on my knees, I'm doing my
Ooh.
prayer, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. And I didn't make it. I didn't make it, guys.
So you
And
fell
when I
asleep
woke
in
up,
prayer.
I fell asleep in prayer. I fell asleep in prayer this morning. And when I got up, I was so
Mm.
far behind my schedule that my anchoring was off. My mind was being bombarded by all types of foolishness that my routine prevents. So when you do it
Ah.
right, it's like you're like super fortified. But when you do it wrong, I feel like, and by wrong, I mean when you don't anchor yourself, you don't do your routine, you get out of sync, you let your offense down, you find yourself getting hit. And I caught one this morning.
There we go. There we go. Thank you for the transparency, guys. So listen, this show is not for the, I would say, the extremely emotional. Right. This show is not for the extremely emotional. This show is for CEOs, PBOs, professional business owners, key executives, and serious entrepreneurs. Right? Because just newbies aren't going to have a clue what we're talking about. When you talk about anchoring and doing your thing early in the morning and the CEO routine and all of those things, they're going to be like, well, why aren't you asleep anyway? You should be asleep, right? The reality is, as a CEO, as a professional business owner, as a serious entrepreneur, as a key executive, you know that our routine is life. Our routine is rhythm. It keeps us in sync. It's our safety mechanism. I can remember a movie with Tom Cruise, Oriental movie, where he was preparing for war. He was actually living with the wife of someone that he had slain in battle. Yeah. Look this one up, guys. Tom Cruise movie. Can't the name of the movie eludes me right now. This is how you can tell it's not scripted, right? The name of the movie eludes me right now, but he was living with the wife of a man that he had slain in battle, and she was preparing him to go to war with the village. So they were going to war, and he was going to war with them, and she was actually preparing him for war and putting on the shield, putting on the armor that her husband had onto the person that had slain him. Now, that's not the point of what I'm saying. The point of what I'm saying is our morning routine is our armor. It's our protection. It's our sheet metal. And it's arming yourself for war and the war that you're going to go through in the morning, right? So we're going to be right back. I just want you to know about how serious this armoring of yourself is. You absolutely must armor yourself, because all throughout the day, you're going to be onslaughted. You're going to be assaulted all day with bills, with necessities, with client demands, with market issues, with competitor disruption, right? Everybody's going to be encroaching upon your moat and your battalion throughout the entire day. So in order to defend, like Bobby said, you got to have a strong offense, and our morning routine is that strong offense. So if you have a strong offense, detail it in the comments. Let us know what your morning routine looks like. Hopefully it's not just coffee and sugar, right? Hopefully it's not more sleep and snooze buttons. Hopefully you have a morning routine that entails moving your mind, moving your body, moving your spirit, so you can move your business and your family forward. We'll be right back. This is The Breakfast with the Brand. I got something new for you guys too. Let me know how you like this. There's slow growth, and then there's scale. There's incremental growth, and then there's exponential growth. What I want to talk to you about is adding a zero to you and experiencing exponential scale. Incremental growth says 1 + 1 is 2. Exponential growth says 1 + 0 is 10. Incremental growth says 2 + 2 is 4. Exponential growth says 5 + 0 is 50. Guys, listen, when you add a zero to you, you can add a zero to the marketplace. You can add a zero to the value that you bring. So you can add a zero to your family, add a zero to your legacy. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about incremental, we're talking about exponential. I always say that business is a spiritual game. Just imagine when you combine your skills, your values, your abilities, your talents to something bigger than you, something greater than you, something like the power of exponential. That is adding a zero. Add a zero to your competence, add a zero to your confidence. This is about adding a zero in your life, your value, your industry, and your mission. Let's grow. New stuff. You got to have new stuff. Like, I promise you guys, like, I have so much fun giving you guys value and telling you how to add a zero and exponential growth. I have so much fun coming up with new strategies to help you win. I have so much passion, so much purpose. I fly all over the world just to record the kind of content that's going to help you start something, finish something, continue with something, because you cannot start and then not finish. We have so many starters on this planet. It's just unfathomable how many great starters we have. You probably know some in your life. You might be one of them. Phenomenal starters. I want you to become a phenomenal finisher and a consistent and intensive continuer. Stop stopping, guys. People stop because they lack the confidence, or they lack the push, or they lack the initiative, or they lack the vision, the value, and the person that they love on the other end of their continuance and success. So many people start, very few finish. Decide right now that you're going to be one of the finishers, one of the phenomenal finishers.
Wow. You know, that reminds me of the family movie we were watching last night. So Sunday for us is family time with the kids, like with everybody. And we were watching the origin story of LeBron James. I forget what the name of it is, but it's like something origin or something like that. And that's what the coach said. Like the coach said that it's not about how you begin, it's about how you finish. And that was his theme throughout the whole movie as the gentleman played. And one thing that I love about that statement is that's what I was thinking about this morning. Like soon as it registered to me that I had been hit, boom, I was like, okay, great. As soon as that set in, I was like, what now? And then it was like, okay, we open our day strong, best of our abilities. But when we don't open the day strong, how do we finish the day is very, very important and completely incumbent upon how you execute. So the last piece that I would share on this is more of a question to the audience. You know, when was the last time you got hit and how have you responded? Because sometimes mediocrity will give you what we call a haymaker. A haymaker is a hit so hard that you stumble a little bit, like you walk a few steps outside of your box, and your box is just your footing where you're stable. And when you get hit hard, it's not the hits that you expect that knock you off balance. It's the ones that you don't see coming that are just like.
Very good, very good. So to answer that question for the audience and for myself, like I always have to stay inside a tight circle, right? I always have to stay inside a tight circle and around the right people. Because if you get hit, if you don't have a corner to go back into, like if you don't have the coach in the corner, like if you don't have the right people in your corner, think about those terms, in your corner. That's a boxing analogy. If you don't have the right people in your corner, then you're going to get destroyed out there. Like honestly, like destroyed, like disassimilated, like discombobulated. You're going to be torn apart, guys, if you don't have the right people in your corner. So for me, it was very important for me to get the right people around me in my corner. And another thing that I do, Bobby, is when something goes wrong, I go back to the basics. I go back to the basics. I don't get too far off point. Like that won't happen. I don't get caught up in my emotions because I go right back to the basics. I mean, when I say I go right back to the basics, I might sit on the ground. I might get grounded. I'll meditate. I'll lock myself away. Whatever's causing me an issue, like I'll seriously, because I got to understand, and you guys got to understand too, the highest value resource of a CEO is their thinking. The highest value resource of a CEO is your thinking. So when things are going wrong in your business, when things are going wrong in your health, when things are going wrong in your relationships, your communications, your whatever the situation is, when things are going wrong, it's probably because you're not thinking. You're reacting. Probably emotionally. When your heartbeat starts to beat unpredictably and you begin to see things differently, like erratic, there's what we call triggers. So I come from a clinical background, right? And there's what we call triggers, like a cotton mouth. Cotton mouth is a trigger. Wet hands, clammy hands, let you know that you're getting out of comfort zone. Your pupils begin to dilate. And you might see red. Things begin to change physically. Those are called biomarkers, bio-triggers. And they're cues, they're biological cues that you need to sit down. You need to relax. You need to get away. You need to go back into your temple, right? I like what somebody said. Somebody said they're on here as Facebook users. So give StreamYard permission to use your name because I won't be able to identify you if you say something good. So Facebook user says, that's why you should also put on the armor of God. That's a part of the morning routine. If you're not prayerful, how can you be careful? You know what I'm saying? Like how like that's almost like a non-descriptive because that's just a given. Like you have to be prayerful in order to be careful. So prayer, meditation, exercise, all of those things have a huge part to play when it comes to getting ready. And I tell my sons this, right? So this will be the last point I speak on before Bobby picks up and we go to the next break. I tell my sons, you can be great at what you do. Guys, you can be phenomenal at what you do. Sharon Francis, good. You can be phenomenal at what you do, but it's not about you. We so self-absorbed. We don't think something's going to happen because we counting on ourselves. But this world isn't built on yourself. I teach my sons defensive driving outside of the car. Outside of the car, we have to play defensive driving because, listen, on your job today, it's Manic Monday. Somebody's going to do something that's going to trigger you. I guarantee it. Someone's going to say something that they shouldn't say to you. I guarantee it. Someone's going to make you feel a way that makes you feel like responding out of character. And this is why you need to implement defensive driving so that when a person is asking for a problem, you don't become the cause of their problem and create problems for yourself. Situations will occur. You have to think about it strategically instead of becoming what we call statistically.
Man, this is such a good analogy this morning, because as we're speaking and talking and I'm looking at the comment sections, it's almost like this is an intuitive conversation that we're having, because everybody knows that what a parry is. You might not know it by that name, but a parry is pretty much when you deflect a punch with your body or another punch, a counter punch, and then you are positioning yourself for the next hit. So we call that a parry and counter. And when you're living life, I feel like that's what you have to do. You have to bob, weave, parry, and throw. Stick and move is what they say. Stick and move. And I think that this fourth quarter has been a quarter of moving, but not enough sticking. We got to stick it back to the man. Like you got to stick it back to life. Like we've been, and I'll speak for myself. You know, last year, I think I did a lot of moving, but y'all know my story, like the 400% revenue growth, like 3 consecutive years is because of the community that I've been in. So trust me, I've been sticking and moving, but I've noticed something. I've noticed that when I stick as much as I move, the adversary leaves me alone. It kind of gets out the way a little bit. And sometimes when we move so much that the adversary might feel like we soft. It might think we chumps out here. It might think that we're not serious. Ooh. So I encourage everybody, like if you have a morning routine, then you might have a good approach. So an approach is how you get ready to engage. But one thing that I've been developing is my stick and move. And my stick and move is my nightly routine. And that's what was off last night. That's how I got caught. So like when they say parry, they also say, oh man, and I love boxing too. So it's like you got a few ways you can do this. But if you know Mayweather, he likes to use what's called a shoulder roll. So he'll roll that shoulder and he'll protect his chin while he's throwing the punch. And that's the nightly routine. That morning routine, both of them. So you got to have them both. So I'm like this. I'm throwing these punches, but I'm leaving all of this open every time I throw the punch. So when I got hit, it was almost like, like you knew better, but you hadn't been training the defenses. Like you gotta train it. You gotta throw the shoulder. You gotta roll it. And I love just the direction that this is going in, because the brand planner that we use, man. Oh my goodness, that you have to be in a.
I got a new one too. The new one's coming.
Oh my gosh! Like
yeah, next quarter we got a brand new one coming with a lot more in it, man. It cost us so much more because we're putting so much more in it. Stockpile, man. Stockpile. Man. So when we talk about go ahead.
I said I'm not even going to talk about the brand planner because it's like that thing is beastly.
Let them show it. Just show it real quick. Show the front of it and show the side of it so they can see the thickness.
Keep that thing going.
Yikes. Okay, guys. So watch. This is the nightly and the morning routine. That's the nightly. Pull it up one more time. Just let them see the front of it and then the side of it. Yeah, guys, listen. This is the brand planner. Like if you don't have a schedule, then you're off cue. I guarantee it. I personally and professionally, spiritually, emotionally and economically, psychologically and biologically let you know right now, if you don't have a schedule set for your body, for your mind, for your spirit, for your business, for your relationships, for your communication, for your health and your wellness, then you're shot right now. And that's why we're almost like ping pong balls. You know, the ping pong thing, not ping pong. What's the pinball? You're like pinball.
Yeah.
All you're doing is getting hit. You don't have a strategy. All you're doing is deflecting and reflecting and trying to get up out of there and, hopefully make some sense out of the day. And that's why people show up to the morning and they're exhausted, Bobby. They're exhausted. I know you're exhausted on this call right now, guys. Like, real talk. Like, I know if you just woke up after a long night's sleep, you know what it is to sleep 9 hours and feel like you exhausted when you wake up? You know what it is to wake up multiple times during the night because you don't know what's going on in the morning, or sleep throughout the night because you can't actually get up, and when you wake up, it's only because you have to, and you don't like where you're going, and you don't like what you see, and you don't like how you feel. That stuff can be changed. But again, like I said before, if you got the wrong people in your corner, guys, if you're in the wrong community, it's like trying to teach yourself how to fight with no gym. So for boxers, it's being a part of a gym. Think of the boxers that come out of Philadelphia. Like, you got to be in a community. Some people leave and go. Look at so many people leave their homes in little Idaho or Oregon, and no disrespect to Idaho or Oregon, but some people, are born in Oregon and Idaho and something, places that are not conducive to their success. You might have been born in a place or in a situation that wasn't conducive to your success. So what do these people do? They pack up their bag and they move to Hollywood. They pack up their bag and they move to New York, because success takes place in New York and success takes place in Hollywood, California. That's where the stars are. Where is the music capital? People pack up and go to Atlanta. People pack up and go to Houston. People like, nah, I'm out of here. I'm not staying here. I might have been born in this small town, but I'm not going to die in this small town. And I'm not going to live in this small town, because if I live in this small town, I'm going to live small. So you got to get around people that are doing the things that you want to do. And if strategy is not your strong point, then you need to be in a strategic community. If business is not your strong point, then you need to find yourself a business community. If leadership, if discipline, if those are not your strong points because you were raised without them, I mean, let's just be honest. I grew up around people whose cigarettes was the morning routine. You understand? So I had to change my circle in order to change my future and my legacy and the impact that I would have. Because again, and we're about to go to the break, but this is what I say, the 7 prerequisites to success. We don't get to choose who our parents were, but by God, we get to choose who our children's parents will be. Let's grow. It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile, and he's just very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. I said Sean Rais. I'm proud. I said Sean Rais. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Sean, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. Confidence is key. Most of the people I work with, they have the education, the experience, and the expertise. We call those the 3 E's. But they're looking for the 3 I's, the income, the impact, and the independence. And I always tell them that the bridge between the 3 E's and the 3 I's is marrying your confidence to your competence. Most of the people I work with, again, have all of the competence in the world. What I help them do is get the confidence. Yes, 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 yes. Listen, guys. So again, one of the things that I pride myself on helping people to do, just very simple, very, very simple. You got to remember, like I started my business in the basement of a job that I hated with the BlackBerry, right? The old one. And when I upskilled or upscaled or up-leveled or upgraded, I moved to another BlackBerry, right? Listen, I started my business in the basement of a job that I hated with the BlackBerry. So one of the things that I pride myself on helping people do, and Bobby, you'll remember this, you'll remember when I said it, and you'll remember the exact challenge and how it made you feel. I said, just go live. Just go live. Just touch people. Just turn on your camera. You know that phone everybody has? You guys might be watching me on the phone. You guys, you have everything that you need to start your business in your hand. Yeah. Put it on yourself, go live and speak to the people. Remember that, Bobby?
I do, vividly. And I followed the advice and it worked phenomenally. And, you know, when I think about the little things, I just keep thinking about how important it is to have a coaching community that you're in, to have a gym, because I remember leaving the gym. You know, I can laugh about it now, but I remember leaving the gym. So it was, oh man, and I was getting pummeled, guys. So I was, baby number 4 was on the way, and the business was scaling and growing, but the military demands were high. My background is finance and economics. I was taking 2 courses. So those that know anything about econometrics or about calculus or about quantitative analysis know your brain hurts, you're tired, everything starts to go together after a while. I don't care who you are. So all of that was happening. And I had an opportunity to leave the gym. I had made all of my investments. I went to all my trainings, and I felt like I was good. I felt like I was chiseled. I was ready to go. And lo and behold, I went out there thinking it was sweet. Boy, I went out there thinking that I knew something. And when I got out there, I set up my own fight. I'm like, I don't need a promoter. Who are those guys? They're just another middleman, just here to take my money. I don't need them. I go in, I get scammed. Now I'm using an analogy here, but like when you go out there and you try to make your money on your own without actually understanding how to make money, you end up spending more money than you normally have to on things that you don't need.
Nope,
and
that's right.
When it's time to actually make the money and you get the money coming in, you're paying back all the things that you spent the money on. Like, it's crazy. That was me. That was me. So that was one mistake. Then I get in the ring, you know, I'm walking out. I have the best theme music you could possibly imagine. And I'm, you know, I got tassels on my shoes and Tyson in the ring, barefoot, no socks on, ready to annihilate. So I'm walking out, I'm dancing. So what that is compared to is we can get out there and buy into the hype when we don't have the coach in the corner, when we don't have, oh man, I forget which Rocky it was, but Rocky had got successful at this point. He was dancing and showboating and coming out, and they had to take him back to Cali, take him back to where it started, take him back to the chain rattling bag. So sometimes you have to have that environment that awakens the beast. So as I tie off this analogy, this example of how I left and why I ran back and was so thankful that there was a door open for me to climb into, was that I was out there dancing. You know, I bought into that hype. I was like fragrantly just doing nonsense. And that can look like getting all of these high quality photos with no substance in the post. This could look like putting yourself out there with no understanding of what your brand is. It's like having a website with improper copywriting. There's so many things that we can do that just make sense. I did them all, and then none of them worked. And then I found that a chiseled body wasn't enough. I needed a promoter. I needed to cut that music off, and I needed to take my socks off and just put some shoes on, get into the gym. And I realized I needed to be training, you know? So when I was knocking back on the door of the brand, like, hey, do you remember me?
Prodigal son. Prodigal son.
Yeah, the prodigal son. The prodigal son. But that's why I think that this call is, this like particular conversation is so important, guys, is because like, I'll say this piece before I turn it back over to Sean here. He taught me the first is always coming. And I want to share you guys like what that meant for me. Like that transformed my life. The first is always coming. So what that means is that when you are building a business, building a family, building a brand, when you are responsible for yourself and for others and for your community and audience, like the first is always coming. The invoices will be due. The clients will need to be served. The family is going to want your time. You are going to need to maintain your mind. Like the first is always coming. And sometimes we can get past the 15th and make it and forget that the first is coming. Sometimes it'll be the second or the third, and we made it, and we forget the first is coming. And the moment you forget the first is coming, you find yourself at the door of the first getting pumped. The first is here now. And because you forgot that the first was coming, you are defenseless, curled up in a ball, taking a beat and waiting for the ref to call it off. And I say that to say 2024 is coming.
Woo.
It's coming. Like,
woo. Come on.
What are you doing? What are you doing? It's coming. You saw what 2023 did to you, did to us. You saw what it's doing to the economy. You saw what it did to the friends that didn't keep their jobs, to the family members whose pensions and retirements wasn't enough. They thought they were set. 2024 is coming. So please, please, please make sure your defenses and offenses are in good order. That's my plea.
Wow, that's huge. That's huge, guys. That's why I say share this out. Like, share this out so that anyone who connects with you at any time can see what you're doing, right? It's a time investment, right? The money investment comes later. Like, that's not why we're here. We're set. Like, we're good. Bobby's scaling his business 400% every year, more than 400% this year. Right? More this year, he broke the 400%. So it's more scale than 400%. Right? So just think, if Mayweather could fight, look at his trainer and just think about how his trainer must be doing. Try running up on him if you feel like it, right? See how that works for you, right? So this is the thing, right? I wrote down in the comments, fundamentals and basics. Fundamentals and basics. We get so caught up in the next shiny object syndrome, SOS. Those shiny object syndromes have you sending out SOS signals soon. Promise you, because the ship is going to be going down. You're going to get caught up. Someone's going to catch your attention. You're going to see a YouTube video and be like, oh my God, that's it. That's the next thing. Oh, I'm good. I can float away. Like Bobby said, like, I'm good. I'm making money. But money doesn't solve money problems. I'm making money. I'm good. I got a belt. I'm good. I got some stamina. I got some size. I'm good. I got some clients. I'm good. It takes you to get knocked out or knocked down for you to realize I'm not as good as I thought I was. I'm not as deep as I thought I was. $100,000 is as much money as I thought it was. I tell everybody $1 million is not enough. It's just not. Let's be real. Like if you don't understand that, then you will soon find out on the other side of a bad decision. Fundamentals and basics. The first is always coming. So you got to treat every single day like the last day that you have on the planet. In business, in your relationships, in your family, in your health, treat every single day like it's the last day that you have on the planet, and watch what happens in your business. Watch what happens in your health. Watch what happens in your relationships. We get laxical and we get comfortable and we take our foot off the gas. And as soon as we take our foot off the gas, a foot comes down on your neck.
Every time.
As soon as you take your foot off the gas, a foot comes down on your neck every single time. And then something else Bobby said that made me say this. Trying to save money costs you more money. Saving money costs money.
Yeah.
Guys, listen, saving money costs money. You know, I have a beautiful vehicle, but let's imagine I just wanted to save money and didn't have a beautiful vehicle. And I said, you know, there's a lot of economy, old school thinking that says buy practical. So let me buy practical. Let me save some money. I save some money on the car purchase. I purchase a car. And then I drive the car, but the car isn't tuned up. The car isn't efficient. The car isn't effective. The car isn't new. The car isn't technologically advanced. The car isn't safety enhanced. The car isn't all of these different things. For each feature that I choose to leave out because I want to save money puts increased risk on myself and my family. I'm going to say that again. Phantom, 2024, state of the art, technological, phenomenal, absolutely, safety enhanced, top of the line, everything. Now it's on you to drive it right. But let's say you say, oh, I'm going to save some money. This costs too much. The community costs too much. The car costs too much. Sean, your prices are too high. Okay, great. Save some money and take this feature off. And take this safety feature off and take this technological feature off. And why don't we strip that out too while we're at it and drive off the lot and see how far you get? Good luck. Mercedes doesn't care how much you spend for your Mazda. They just know that they have top of the line safety features, technological features, enhanced protection for you and your family. Of course you can go get a Mazda. But will your family be protected to the same level? Can you feel safe and comfortable saying, baby, go ahead. Go ahead, baby. Wife who I love, children who I bore into this world, progenitors like my future legacy. Go ahead, get in the Mazda and cross your fingers.
Oh.
At least if I put them in a $100,000 car that I sacrificed and went to college to learn the degrees and wrote the books and sacrificed the time to learn all of these things and do all of these things so I could have these things, at least I know if I spend the 6 figures plus on the car, then at least I know that I've done everything that I can to put all protective measures in place.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yo,
now we believe over here. God is in the business over here. God is in the business and God is in the life too. So we believe over here, but God notwithstanding, the technological features notwithstanding, the phenomenality of the car, the investment in the car notwithstanding, now it's based on human rationality. If my children or my wife does something wrong, at least I know that I've done everything that I could as a man, as a protector, as a father, as a husband to protect them to the highest degree possible. And I didn't spare any expense.
Yeah. And like
something may still go wrong. Let me just say this, Bobby. Something may still go wrong because it's defensive driving. It's not you. It's not you all the time. It's somebody else. But at least if somebody else does something wrong, I know that they're protected to the highest possible degree because I spared no expense. And I hope you guys are able, I know it's early in the morning. I hope you get a cup of Starbucks and watch this again, right? I hope you're able to relate the analogy that I'm creating to business and your community and your skill set and your strategy, because your strategy will, your longevity will depend on your strategy. We're not talking about get rich quick tactics and stuff you can do tomorrow. We're talking about shoring you up for the long haul. So you can have 400% plus revenue increase year after year after year after year and not have to fear more month at the end of the money, but have more money consecutively and consistently at the end of the month. So God forbid if something happens to you because you made the right investment in the right places, your children and your family don't have to worry or jump back to work because somebody wanted to save money.
Yeah, like the reason I was playing a bit of double dutch there was because that really literally happened. And I wanted to tell them how it happened, like real story.
Hold on, Bobby. Hold that story. We'll be right back, guys. It's the Breakfast with the Brand. Get ready for Bobby's story. You guys might want to share this out again. We'll be right back. Let's grow. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves. You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. I teach authenticity marketing. If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
Business is like a game of chess. It's not checkers. If you don't know how to lead with a personal brand, then you're losing the battle.
Everything about Sean's talk was fantastic. I mean, I got so much from it.
So he was really bringing fire and passion and just love and spirit to let everybody else know how do you become a leader amongst the leaders.
You hold the key in your hand. There is more power in this phone than there was that took the first man to the moon.
His energy, his dynamic information, gave a really great presentation.
I didn't ask for any money. I didn't have an offer. I had a heart to help people and meet them where they were at and find their need and fulfill it.
Sean is the bomb.
I don't talk theory. I don't talk hyperbole. I don't talk opinion. Nothing I talk is anything but evidence-based.
During the G-Circle retreat in Atlanta, I had the pleasure and the honor of listening to Mr. Sean Raiz. He will not only impact your organization, but he will elevate your team to another level.
When you change you, when you put you into the equation, the whole system is different. I guarantee you, you got the right thing. You are the right person. If you can present yourself in the best way possible, there's no negotiation.
His energy is infectious, and I have so many takeaways from the presentation that I can't wait to get started and implement them today to see the result.
So when you're young, mommy tells you to play nice. Play nice, Timmy. Let all of the other kids play too. But in business, it's not about playing nice. In business, it's about winning. It's about adding multiple zeros to your revenue. Now, of course, your staff wins. And when you win, other people win. However, when it comes to competition, you absolutely must dominate. You can't play for participation, and you can't play just to get along or just to get by, because business is serious. Business will help you to change the world, or the world will change you. Your people will either win or your people will lose based on your level of leadership, what you're willing to do, what you're willing to sacrifice, and how much you know about dominating. All right. Listen, before Bobby gets into the story, I just want to send a shout out real quick. I see Lawana Bradford, right? I see Lawana Bradford on Facebook crushing it consistently, patiently, poignantly, positioned, prominently. Thank you very much. I also see Tia Rogers consistently on Facebook. posting, commenting, interacting. We see you guys. We don't see you on the StreamYard, so I had to go to Facebook real quick and pull it up to make sure the people are, acknowledged for watching here. We've also got Jordan Knox, Keishan Newton. We got a lot of people. We got, I think it was Sharon Francis. We have a lot of people on Facebook. I'm not able to see YouTube at the same time, but we acknowledge your presence. We acknowledge your presence, and we appreciate you for appreciating yourself. And we guarantee you that your investment with us, whether it's time or money, will not depreciate. It will only appreciate. This is not something that we do theoretically. This is not a hypothesis. This is sound, this is solid, and this is what we do for a living. And we want for you the same thing that we want for ourselves. And that's why we give freely of our time and invest into you consistently on every medium, in every way, shape, form, or fashion possible. Bobby, story.
Man, I'm gonna be
And
honest.
if I didn't mention your name, I apologize, but we see you too. We see you on LinkedIn. We see you everywhere. Thank you guys. We greatly appreciate it. We don't take your time lightly. And if you invest with us, we definitely don't take your revenue lightly. It is our sworn, solemn duty, obligation, principle, and honor to help you to become successful and add a zero to you in every way possible. Let's go.
Man, it's my first time telling this story. Do my best not to get emotional when I tell it. I remember my wife asking me for a car, new car. She had a old, like 2010 Chevy. I remember being newlyweds and being in a hotel room with my in-laws, and she brought up the car that she wanted me to have. And these in-laws were all women. The grandmother was there, the mother was there, and my wife was there.
Oof.
And I was by myself. Pressure. And she said, and yeah, I've asked Bobby for this car, and he still refuses to get me this car. And in my mind, we didn't need a car because the car was working. And I also reasoned that the car is paid off. Why get the debt?
Yeah.
Why take on the debt? As I continue telling this story, one more piece that I want to add is that if you don't do whatever it takes, it'll take whatever you have. Like whatever you have, it'll take it.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to leave.
We'll take it from
what?
Yeah. So.
Oh man, hold on, Bobby. Hold on. I got to do something, guys. When we come here, this is what has to take place. So I'm going to get myself up out of here. Go ahead, Bobby.
Oh my goodness. So I got a call. While I was at a job that I didn't want to be at, doing work that I didn't care to do. And the individual on the other side of the phone told me that my pregnant wife had been in a car accident. They're rushing her to the hospital now. We think the baby's okay. Your wife is conscious. She's in a neck brace. I rushed to the hospital. And as I passed the intersection that she was crossing, the car was I couldn't recognize it. It was almost broken into pieces. And she only survived like by the grace of God. Like when I say, if you don't do what it takes, it'll take everything that you have. Like, I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to believe. I didn't know what to do. I just drove. Do you know what it feels like to be a man, a provider, someone that thought you were doing it right, thought you were saving the money, and get a call saying We pulled her out. She's on the way to the hospital, carrying your firstborn child. I get to the hospital and I see her laid up in the neck brace, and she won't look at me. She can't. All she can say is, I told you. I told you. I told you. Guys, it devastated me, but it changed me too. I will never, ever not give my family what they need. Like when y'all heard me yesterday on the call and I said that the insurance devastated me, losing the insurance, like that was after the car accident, but it was, some time had passed. But like I have been in positions on this journey where I could have lost it all. So I became a go-getter. If she did, I found a way to get it. And I never took no for an answer after that day.
Guys, it's serious. Like, I never heard that story, right? Myself, as the coach, right? I never heard that story. Bobby never shared that with me. So I see his growth in being able to share it with you. That's complete transparency and vulnerability. And that's what we teach here, telling our true story, being who we are and owning up to our faults and our losses and our learnings. I hope you see the dedication that comes from this gentleman as he tells you this story, and I don't have to question its validity. And I hope you don't have to question its credibility. And now since changing the mindset shift, watch this. The business has only increased and experienced profitability. So what's the vehicle now?
A very secure, bells and whistles, rear view camera, all types of cameras. You can't, that car will slow down for her if she gets too close. It'll start beeping. She's in a nice, strong minivan, like strong minivan. I'm proud of that minivan.
That's right. That's right.
And my kids, state-of-the-art car seats. Proud of them car seats, expensive car seats. They ride good.
They riding good.
Assistance, everything. Everything.
You said that if you don't invest everything you have, what'd you say?
If you don't do whatever it takes, it'll take whatever you have. It'll take everything you have.
Do yourself a favor, because at some point you're going to have to invest. Like at some point you're going to have to invest. So invest now and save yourself the pain, right? And invest as high as you possibly can so you can ensure quality. And listen, I believe in loans. Look at my education. I believe in loans. I believe in putting $250,000 here and $250,000 here on my shoulder because I bet on me. I bet on me for my family. I'm going to take the whole ride because my parents didn't take those loans and those risks. They were risk averse. I'm risk welcome. I'm all for it because I don't want my children to take on the risk. If somebody's going to have to assume the burden of responsibility in our generational legacy building and creation, someone's going to assume the responsibility. So if our parents didn't assume the responsibility that provides liquidity for 5 generations forward, then it's on us to ensure the liquidity for 5 generations forward. And hopefully put them in a situation where they're not, the soul of them is sucked out by corporate. Hopefully they'll be able to lean on mom, to lean on dad, to lean on soon to be grandma, grandpa, because we took the risks and we made the right investments and we took the right burden so that we could deserve the seat at the head of the table. I'm so glad that happened the right way for you, brother, because you could have been telling a whole nother story.
another story. And what's so crazy is like, I can never forget it because the intersection was pulling out of our kids' school. She had just dropped the kids off at school and they still go to that same school and they're going to graduate at that school most likely. So for the next 4 or 5 years, I'm going to see that intersection and I'm going to be reminded of what happened there. And that's why it's like, it could have been a little bicycle. Like, I don't know where y'all are from, but in the South, when there are like accidents on the road, they put memorials on the side of the road next to where the accident happened. And up the road, there's a bicycle memorial. Little girl was crossing the street on a bicycle and boom, hit dead. So they got the little bicycle and people drop roses at the bicycle. Like, my wife could be a memorial on the side of the road. And I remember every time I drive past that spot. And the last piece I would share on this, because it's crazy, is my daughter does not take that road. So I'm teaching her how to drive right now. And she's 16 and she knows what happened. And you can either go the intersection and make the left like my wife did when she got hit, or you can turn right, go all the way up the road and come all the way back around. Moral of the story is my daughter is traumatized because of it. And she won't take the road. She won't take the path because dad messed up. But dad fixed it. Dad's getting it right. And I'm doing the work. But I want y'all to know that some mistakes don't just affect you, but everybody that's watching you. Make them.
I want to acknowledge Chip Baker Jr. on LinkedIn. We see you too, brother. We see everybody, right? I go back through the comments. So if you comment, I go back through the comments on every single platform. We appreciate your presence. We appreciate your presence. We want the same thing for you that we want for ourselves. There is no big I's and little U's. We come to you humbly to serve you. This is what we teach, servant leadership. I believe that you can't have transformational leadership in front of or instead of servant leadership. I believe servant leadership comes first and then transformational leadership happens if it's based on ethics and transformative principles. And you'll see this in Gandhi. You'll see this in Mother Teresa. You'll see this in Martin Luther King. You'll see this in all great leaders that I follow, look up to, trust, and pattern this business behind. It is a service. It is an honor. It is a duty. And it is a privilege to be with you this morning on the Breakfast with the Brand. Again, I see you, Kwame. I see you too. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you for giving the people what they need this morning. Take this with you as you ponder your next investment. You ponder the next ask, you ponder the next debt, you ponder the next leverage, you ponder the next opportunity and the opportunity that you have and the obligations that you have. Be thoughtful, be mindful that you're making your decisions now, not for now, but for 50 years in the future. This is the Breakfast with the Brand. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Let's grow. I'm gonna play this one more time before we go to the outro. I kind of like this intro. Let me know what you guys think about this video while it's playing, and then tomorrow we'll talk about it. Let's grow. Thanks again, Bobby. Greatly appreciate it, brother. Glad it worked out for you. There's slow growth, and then there's scale. There's incremental growth, and then there's exponential growth. What I want to talk to you about is adding a zero to you and experiencing exponential scale. Incremental growth says 1 + 1 is 2. Exponential growth says 1 + 0 is 10. Incremental growth says 2 + 2 is 4. Exponential growth says 5 + 0 is 50. Guys, listen, when you add a zero to you, you can add a zero to the marketplace. You can add a zero to the value that you bring. So you can add a zero to your family, add a zero to your legacy. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about incremental, we're talking about exponential. I always say that business is a spiritual game. Just imagine when you combine your skills, your values, your abilities, your talents to something bigger than you, something greater than you, something like the power of exponential. That is adding a zero. Add a zero to your competence, add a zero to your confidence. This is about adding a zero in your life, your value, your industry, and your mission. Let's grow.